Hey everyone, welcome to Tag Me. My name is Ben, and we have some really great news today, and I can't wait to share it with you. Before we get to that, I was able to go to my meetup last night, just down the road here. We got in some really good games as well of Netrunner. Can't wait to talk about that. I made some big changes to my deck. Well, all of my decks, really. But before we get there, there's some big news that just dropped today that I think everyone's going to be super excited for. So last time when we were talking, I explained about that new codename Project Dawn that Null Signal had coming down the road later this year. Well, this morning we finally got some news. They just dropped an update with a lot of information here under Welcome to Elevation. So let's take a look. It looks like Patrick Sklar from Null Signal dropped this just a little bit here. So we finally have a name. After many months of codename Dawn and speculation and wondering what it could be, without any real info on flavor text as well, here it is. The next cycle is called Elevation. Dawn breaks over Kota Kalamantan. And this seems to be all located in Oceania and the Pacific Islanders, and specifically Borneo. This set is all going to take place on the island, or at least mostly, maybe this first part, take place on the island of Borneo. And we do have some information, so I'm just going to read some of this and hopefully give us some flavor insight to what might be going on here. From a sacred mountaintop in central Borneo stretches what will be the world's last and greatest space elevator, the Mokata Langit. Surrounding its Earth's newest megacity, Kota Kalamantan, which grew rapidly to serve the space elevator's construction and anticipate its operation, Kali sprawls across central Borneo, ignoring borders and absorbing cities in its path. Which already just sounds awesome. I will be the first to admit I don't know a lot about Borneo either, so this did also take me down a bit of a rabbit hole, and just to see what kind of resources Borneo has and what its economy is and like what that area looks like. But we have a space elevator information. Try that again. A new space elevator is in Borneo. And it looks like Jinteki found a new biomaterial called Micelle that's going to try and sustain the scale of this new space elevator. And just from a lore standpoint, that's super interesting. As I think the big space elevator I knew of was the Beanstalk, which was operated by subsidiaries of Wayland Consortium. And this being a Jinteki, at least it seems like, fueled project, is a bit interesting because Jinteki, thus far, has really been focused on cloning, genetics, bioresequencing, and really getting into, I would say what makes a human, but arguably Haas Bioroid with robots does a similar thing. But Jinteki's always focused really on the biologic side of that instead of the mechanical, like HB might. So to have them find a new biomaterial, I didn't even think about that. I don't know if Micell's a real thing, but before we check that out, so I was looking up some things in Borneo. It is in this area of the world, Southeast Asia, by Indonesia and China and all this area here, but it seems to be a very lush rainforest country. Like, it has a lot of jungle ecology. It has a massive rainforest. I would assume one of the oldest, 140 million years old, is a very old rainforest. So I love the idea that Jinteki found some new type of material, biological material, maybe synthesized, lurking or somewhere deep inside this rainforest, and is now using that to try and create, I would assume here. I haven't gone through I have read all of this, but it's hard to absorb. These are very dense and interesting articles, and I love it. I highly recommend you take a look and read this whole thing for yourself as well. It's all super exciting. But we do have the new logo. Let me get my face out of the way over there, which looks like it's going to be, what did they call it here? It is inspired by the Mokata Langit and the surrounding city of Kota Kalamantan, depicting a towering structure rising over the natural mountains of the area. Valerian 32 created the design, which is really nice. I think Null Signal's done a really, really good job of making very distinct and different forms of set identification. So this is, of course, another example of that. And yep, and they gave us some teasers here, some things that we have to look forward to. So I'll go through these really quick. A cycle of runner cards that host cards. If you've been playing the game for a while, maybe you've heard of daemons or demons. There was one right in the beginning in the very first core set called Jin, which was very, very strong. Let's see if we can find that. Yep, core set. So this type of program has been around for a really long time in Netrunner. There's been some other weird ones. There's been like Leprechaun. Muse, I believe, is kind of like a daemon. It's like a tutor demon. But basically, the daemon is just a program that hosts other programs. And these have definitely existed for a long time in the game. So seems like we're going to have a new brand of those, which seems super cool. An ice inspired by UNESCO World Heritage Site, which I think is very, very interesting. I always love when they bring real life, I mean, obviously this game is very grounded in its theme and its fluff, but it's nice to have that reinforced as well. 6 new run events, a way to install agendas face up. And again, this is something that we've seen way back when with the public type agendas, which historically were all Wayland agendas. And we had things such as even modernly Oaktown renovation is still in the format, which is one that keep forgetting where my things are here. So Oaktown is one that you will all know. It's currently legal, but public is what they call that, where install only face up so you know it's there. Which is cool that they're bringing this back. And they've also had some different types of projects or public initiatives like this. They had Hollywood renovation, and there was a 3-1 as well. And of course, CityWorks project is another example of that. That's legal in the current standard meta. Let's see. But this is, more interestingly, is a way to install agendas face up. So this kind of seems to indicate it might be like an operation, or it might be some type of ability that will give you some benefit when you do install something face up, because obviously it's a value to the runner. If the runner knows that there is an agenda there, then that's really important to them. It's important. You are giving them that information, and then they have it available to them, which is a big difference in how this game is typically played. What else we got here? We got a runner ID who puts the organized crime back into criminal, which is vague and not at the same time. I assume that means we're gonna get like a proper criminal in the criminal faction, and maybe somebody that has organized crime would make me think, I don't know if Borneo has any major gangs like the Yakuza or anything like that, like other places typically do, but maybe this is some type of mobster kind of character for a criminal, which would be very, very cool. It makes a lot of sense thematic-wise. A new region upgrade and a new upgrade that moves between servers. So we've seen regions before, and we've had these upgrades that bounce introduced a bit recently with the sysops, I believe is what the term is, like your Vovos and your Adrian Seises and the Hollow Man, and these types of upgrades that can bounce around. Yeah, the sysops. So when your turn ends, you may move this upgrade to the root of another server. I think this is a really cool design space that definitely not Fantasy Flight Games, that Null Signal Games has been playing with. But I look forward to see more of that, of course. Neutral card that can purge virus counters during a run. Also very interesting. There used to be a piece of ice called Macrophage that kind of did this, but it used a trace mechanic, and I just think that Null Signal has been trying to move away from this type of design. And I don't think there's very few cards that have this many traces on a single card to begin with. But really the power of this card was the purging, that first trace 4 to purge. At the time that this was legal, there was also another card that comboed with it called Cyberdex Sandbox, which was just a bananas card. I guess this is still in rotation. It's just banned for, you know, obvious reasons. If you score this, it gets you 4 back immediately. And then with things like Macrophage, you're just going to constantly be churning through ways to not only purge, but get money while you do it. And if you do manage to score 2 of these cyber decks, 8 credits every single time. So I don't think it's going to be quite on the level of like a Macrophage, but I do like seeing more ways to purge virus counters. Right now, there's a little bit more limited ways to do it with Mavirus, and Business as Usual does have a mode to purge as well. And we're starting to see more cards like this that might have a little bit more utility or a little bit more limited. So this is all virus counters from 1 installed card instead of the Mavirus, which purges the entire board state. So maybe we'll see something a little bit more like this than the Mavirus example that purges a whole board. But I'm excited for that. I think it's good that it's a neutral ability as well, and not something that only one faction can really capitalize on without some influence cost. So I'm looking forward to that too. This is fun. A card with bees in it, or bees on it, I suppose. I can't think of any bees. I wonder if there'll be biological bees. They could be killer bees. As I did mention, Borneo is very wooded and very much a rainforest. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's some type of deadly bee that would exist. Could also be like an icebreaker. Could even be like a weird, like a weapon. I mean, who are we talking? This is Jinteki. They could have bioengineered bees. Wouldn't really surprise me that much, but it would be really cool thematically. 3 cards that take credits from your opponent. We've seen this a lot in Netrunner historically too. Modernly, of course, we have diversion of funds. I'm sure everybody that plays Standard is very familiar with this. You fear it, you expect it, you pay influence for it sometimes because it does see play outside of Criminal, and it's really good. It's a good card. Now, again, we're going to go back to Core Set really quick, because this is also another version of Account Siphon. Obviously, our diversion of funds is a little bit more balanced than Account Siphon, because Account Siphon just is a 15 credit swing as opposed to diversion's 5 credit swing, 4 or 5 credit swing. But this also is a card that's been around. And in either of these 2 places, obviously I would much rather have the balance lean more heavily towards the side of the diversion of funds. But there's also been other interesting cards like Vamp, and this is one that I always liked. I thought this was a really fun way to do money destruction, or to force people to lose money. And obviously you need the money to force the corp to lose it, but it has an intrinsic cost to the runner as well. So having something like this in the meta would be good as well. But all of these cards, all 3, I mean, the Vamp and the Account Siphon have both been long gone, but the diversion of funds is going to be rotating out when, not dawn, escalation, or elevation? Elevation? What did we call this? What's this thing? Elevation. Gotta get that right. So when elevation comes out, I believe all of those major cards that have the credit transfers, the credit swings, I believe all those are going to be rotating out. So I like that Econ Denial is a play style. I'm not sure if we'll see another ID like Roja that had that Econ Denial built in, but I do always like, or have always liked, the economic denial side of the game, and I think that's an interesting avenue of play to leave open. So as long as it's not as oppressive as Account Siphon was, and hopefully they can stay away from the recursion a little bit more, and no same old siphons, certainly. This few cards that take credits, I think, are always good to sprinkle in there a little bit. There's going to be a way for the runner to trash a rezzed corp card without accessing it, which sounds interesting. This would be a way to diffuse traps, for example, like an Urtica Cipher or something that might hurt upon access. And the phrasing of this does seem to imply that it's just trash, it's not steal. So it won't, or an effect like that that they're teasing here, a way for the runner to trash a rezzed corp card without accessing it. So they wouldn't be able to duck like a CityWorks or Fuji asset is a better example of that. It just lets them trash a rezzed corp card. But that's cool, because the ways that you can do that modernly still force you to actually access the card, like pinhole threading. If you were to play pinhole threading on this Urtica cipher, for example, we'll go to pinhole. Instead of breaching the attack server, access one card in the root of another server, but you're still accessing the card, which means the Urtica cipher abilities that trigger on access would still fire. So I'm super curious to see how they managed to make that work in the design space. I think it's cool to be able to diffuse traps without actually encountering the traps. I'm sure there's going to be some type of econ cost to that at the time, or when you're really getting into it. So I'm super stoked about this. And of course, the very last thing is that it is going to be released on Thursday, April 24, 2025. So we are just shy of 3 months away, which it's been a minute. So I'm super excited for this set, but this also means that we have a good amount of time to really get back into it and get a lot of runs in and do a lot more testing and get to a lot more meetups and hopefully get to a lot more tournaments. And I know, at least in the Los Angeles area, we're probably going to be having some competitive level events that are happening probably before this date. So we'll still be existing in the standard meta for a good, another quarter still, which is exciting. And it also means that I will probably have to switch and go back to standard at some point pretty soon. But that's fine. For right now, we'll stick with startup and just be excited for this. Unfortunately, we didn't have any scoops, no scoops on this release, but we have a lot of time left, so I'm sure we'll get more scoops as we get closer to release. And yeah, definitely go check this out. Give this a read, give this your click. Again, this art is gorgeous. I don't know, I don't think I can make it full, but that's just beautiful. That's a really nice piece of art, and it really gives you has some nice depth. The clouds are lovely. You get these massive buildings and this construction going on top of the hill. And this is obviously the namesake, or excuse me, the photosake, the picture. This kind of imagery is what we're looking at for the set symbol as well. So really, really cool, really cool. And behind here, so this is Makota Langet. And this is, I assume, the space elevator that is to be built. Whoops, we went a little bit too ham there. I'm curious as well if we're gonna see like maybe a pseudo time jump, if we're gonna see a continuation in the story, we'll say. So if we'll see in the first set, maybe this is still under construction, and maybe in the second set after elevation, we might actually have a finished space elevator, which would be kind of cool too. But either way, I'm stoked. I definitely recommend you give this a look and learn a little bit about Borneo as well. Or Borneo? Yeah, is that what we said here? Borneo. Yeah, learn a little bit about Borneo as well. I am going to for sure. Oh, actually, I want to know, is mycel a real thing? It is. Mycelium, or mycel, root-like structure of a fungus that's made up of branching thread-like hyphae. I don't know how any of these words are pronounced, by the way, so if I am mispronouncing any of it, I apologize, and hopefully we'll have a pronunciation guide come out that I can follow a little bit more closely. So it looks to be some type of mold or a fungus, so I would speculate here that maybe Jinteki has found a way to synthesize some type of fungus to help get to the space elevator here. Or sustain, how do they say it? Is it Jinteki developed biomaterial that is able to sustain the impossible scale of the project, and HB biotic labor to do the jobs that no human can? Yeah, so they don't give us a lot of information about what these corps are doing, but this does seem to almost indicate that there's a cooperation between the corps in this cycle, and I feel like that's always led to some really interesting type of card development in card pools. So we'll yeah, again, super stoked to see that. Very excited for the set to come out in April, and hopefully more scoops to come out that we can follow along and discover more of. Now, let's go back to these decks that we played the other day. So we tried playing this Ahri deck, and we'll go to edit here. So our original, or the last version that we had, see if I revert this, it shouldn't go away. So this is the last version that we had, which had a lot of suspect includes. And I thought they weren't great when I was playing it, but I just wanted to try stuff, see how it worked. The emergency shutdowns, I thought I would be able to play a little bit more, or I would be able to punish a corp. And then in my tests, the emergency shutdown didn't really fire. It was really clunky. I never had the opportunity to even play it. My pressure was pretty weak. The way that the deck had worked is it uses 3 Slap Vandals, which are nice to help me get in. But besides the Slap Vandals, it focused on Echelon, Cleaver, and Umbrella. And yeah, you can hear it in the way my voice went up. I questioned my decision when I put in Umbrella, but we still did it anyway. I just think it's a cool card. I want it to work. I like seeing design space like this in cards. It's exciting. But this ain't it. It's a big problem. It's 3 cost, which isn't bad. You know, it's the same cost as the Cleaver, and it has way more strength. But we can't increase the strength of it, of the Umbrella, that is. And it costs 2. The lowest amount it costs to break anything is 2 credits. Which isn't inherently the worst, because it is 3 code gates. But this last sentence, if at least one subroutine was broken this way, each player may draw a card. It's cool that the runner gets the card draw, but giving the corp the card draw for breaking their ice doesn't feel good. And that's before we even talk about the bigger part, which it requires something to have a Trojan already on it. So I touched on it a little bit, but basically the problem with Umbrella is it takes a click to install the Umbrella, and then it takes another card to actually be installed on the ice. So we would have to have the Egret on a piece of ice, or maybe a Peach of Shaw, or a Sachi, or Sachi. So it's just too many pieces. It's too clunky. It didn't get us anywhere. So I went through and I just scrapped a lot of this. I'm gonna go back to my version that I played. Hope I'm gonna go back to the version that I played. We're gonna cancel edits. Hopefully it gets me back to where we want to go. And we're gonna talk about the changes that actually got made. So we dropped. Yeah, so this is the newer deck here. So we dropped all of these emergency shutdowns. We got rid of the Egret. We got rid of the Umbrella. And we added these Fizarums. And the Fizarums are really, really nice because this kind of takes the place of another breaker. And the Fizarum Entanglers will let us, we can install them on our turn or during a run with our Arasana ability. So it works with our ID. It gets us through ice. And it gives the corporation the idea that they can purge. And if they take a turn off to purge off the Fizarum Entanglers, we don't really hate that. But the key is that it gives us the pressure, because now we have 2 different Trojans that we can install during a run to get us in a server. So it helps lock up the remotes. It forces the corporation to need more ice than they might suspect. In addition to us being Shaper and having access to things like Muse to tutor a program from wherever it might be, whether it is our discard pile in our heap or our deck with our stack, we can get it with Muse. But then Ahri lets it hit even harder with something like installing Slap Vandal during a run or the Fizarum. So just almost doubling the capability of RID to get into a server unexpectedly in and of itself is worth the 6 influence. I'm much, much happier with the 2 Fizarums over the 2 emergency shutdowns. I did cut Asachi. Again, I didn't need 3. I think 2 is still plenty. We can always get it back with Muse if we want. And the thing, I had a really fun play to combo the Sachi with this Window of Opportunity at the meetup yesterday. I had run earlier in the tournament, or excuse me, earlier in the game, and my opponent had a rezzed Ancel, which is a big 6 strength barrier. And later in the game, I wanted to run back into the server, and I Window of Opportunity, and the order of window really matters. So I used Window of Opportunity to install the Sachi on the Ancel, which doesn't do anything until the ice is rezzed or de-rezzed, but Window of Opportunity de-rezzes that ice. So I installed the Sachi for free with the DZMZ in play, which reduced the cost. So it was a free install. It gained me 3 credits immediately. And then after the run was successful, because this Window of Opportunity, in addition to giving me the install and the run and the de-res, let them res the ice again. But that just triggered Sachi, because Sachi isn't once per turn, it's whenever. Whenever host ice is rezzed and de-rezzed, gain 3. So I spent 1 click and gained 5 credits and made a run, which is just as efficient as something like Overclock, but it forced the Corp to do it without a piece of ice. So it worked out really well, and I think that's a nice combo that we can have in a lot of different games. And of course, there's a lot bigger pieces of ice you can do that too, which hurts the Corp a little bit more. But that combo I found really, really efficient. Because even if I didn't install the Sachi, the click compression of Window of Opportunity to allow us to install and make a run, I think those 2 factors combined make this card a lot better than I've seen like people talk about. This is one that goes under the radar quite a bit. And every time I look at it, I just see a new thing that excites me about it, or a new reason to try it out. Like, yeah, it's a run and it de-reses a piece of ice. And sure, the Corp can res it again, but if they want to spend money to res the ice that they already rezzed once, I'm okay with that. I consider that a win for 1 credit. Especially if we can hit something like an Ancel or a 4 cost or 6 or 10 cost piece of ice even that exists in this game. So I think this is a really nice little bit of kit. But the install as well, so it doesn't use our Arasana ability. So we could, again, Window of Opportunity to install either a Sachi, or maybe we want to get the Muse down early because we see a barrier or something and we don't have our cleaver on the board, right? It's like, it's a way to help put pressure in a way that the Corp doesn't expect. And I think that's awesome. Especially for a 2 influence, 1 credit card. This card's great. Really cool card. What other neat stuff did we do? We replaced our Umbrella with a Unity. Just better. Just a better card. Like, sure, we're playing Trojans already in this deck, but Unity is simply better. It costs the same, but it scales a little bit nicer. We do play a lot of Icebreakers. We play 6 Icebreakers, so the ability to spend 1 credit for plus X strength is really good. And it's just more reliable. We don't need to do some weird egret thing to get in. We don't need to do a weird Pichachon thing. Just have a good breaker. It's better. We did put the Coalescence back in, which I think is good. The thing that shocked me the most when I was playing in person is like Aesop's. Aesop's is a card that's been around for a long time as well. And it's really good. It's always been really good. But I always forget. It's been a long time since I played Shaper. Like, I'm not used to the Shaper BS these days. So that was part of the reason in wanting to play Ahri. And I had a rough learning game of why we needed to play Shaper, because the triggers and the way that she works and the accesses are really important. So it was a big learning experience for me. But just getting this on the table single-handedly was able to fuel a lot of board pressure. We can pawn the Sachi once they do their job. Like, sure, we can keep them around for a spree, but the Sachis aren't important. If we get 3 credits off it, we can pawn it, get rid of it. We can pawn off a Telework for the 3rd. So Telework gets 9 credits, and every time we click it, we get 3. But a lot of the time I would use it 2 times, and I don't want to spend the last click for 3 credits. So if we don't want to spend the last click, we can just pawn it off. Comes out the same for us. All comes out in the wash, but we save ourselves a click. And that's the thing that this deck in specific, I realize, specializes in. It's like that click compression and utilizing all of those actions to make the biggest impact. So that was kind of how we tried to reshape this deck. In addition to Conduit, so prior, the old version of the deck, the only multi-access we had was Conduit, which was hard enough to use because it required so much stuff with our breakers and our breaker suite. But we added Docklands Pass. And this is just a super reliable way to access more cards out of HQ. Before, we had the emergency shutdown, which pressured HQ in a way that was almost an economic denial for the Corp. The Docklands Pass just punishes the access. If they want to let us in, we're going to see what's in there. Maybe we trash their things that they need. Maybe we steal their agendas. Maybe it's just information and we know that it's a punitive Counter-Strike deck, or they're trying to kill us with, Public Trail or something like that. But either way, it doubles the efficiency of all of our HQ runs. And for 2 credits, that's way better than what we were doing before on HQ. Other things of note in here. We replaced the burners with Trickshot. And it was pretty much a 1-to-1 swap, and you can see that's why this deck ended up at 46 cards, was because again, we're just tinkering and seeing how it works, so I'm not super worried about getting the lowest, most consistent deck. But Trickshot is just a beast. It got banned from Standard for a reason. It's just obscene. Plays 1 cost run event, plays 4 credits that you can spend during the runs. It gives you an R&D run. And if it's successful, you get more credits on the trick shot. More on that in a second. Plus, you get to access 2 cards, so makes your run more efficient. But then, regardless of whether that run on R&D was successful or not, you get to make another run on a remote server. So trick shot is like a way for you to have an entire turn's worth of value in a single card. And I just don't know why it wasn't in the deck before. So we corrected that mistake. As much as I do love Burner, I think Burner's a really cool card, especially in Standard where Trick Shot is banned. I think Trick Shot is just more impactful of a card for a startup deck. What other things did we do here? We kept the 2 DZMZ. I will always install 2, I found, if I can. With these Muses, it's good. With the Coalescence, it's good. We can get all these back, obviously, with our breakers, Echelon, Cleaver, and Unity. Docklands Pass, DZMZ is going to reduce the cost of that. All of that's great. So, with the Docklands Pass plus Urban Art, oftentimes we weren't paying very much or little to nothing for our programs, which was really, really nice. And it's always good. Helps the deck when you don't have to just pay for stuff out of pocket. Other notable keeps, or I guess other cards that we haven't talked about. We cut the Pichashaw. I didn't think we needed to. 1's plenty. If we get it with the Conduit, it's great. We can always pull it with the Muse. Just didn't see a need for 2. The Wildcat Strike, we just kind of included for the extra point of influence. This could also be like a pinhole threading, I think. I think that's legal in Standard or Startup. But it's just a fine choice. It's a sure gamble, or it can be card draw if our opponent is feeling kind. So that's fine. And we kept the Spree because I think this is cool in an Ahri deck. We can relocate the Sachis. We can relocate our Egret, which is another card I left in the deck because I just think it's a good flexible card. And again, anything that we can include in this deck that can help us act as a can opener, help us get into a place when the Corp doesn't expect it, is what we want to do. So I just thought a little 2 of is nice. It's fun. We have enough programs, Trojans, that we can move around and get a good benefit from it. So it was good. And these changes helped tremendously. I will say, I'll try and play this in a little bit here, But this made the deck feel a lot better, even though I was much less confident in playing it because I was learning how all of my triggers worked and my timing, and trying to be, you know, make sure people didn't res before I used my Arasana ability and all of this stuff. It was a really good learning experience just to see how she worked. And after a few playthroughs, I started to get it and feel good with it. So I would love to give this deck some more reps at some point and see how it feels. So hopefully we can get to that a little bit today. Other changes here. I did play this Seb deck. Yeah, you know what? Let's just see if we can find a game for this this Ahri deck, and we can actually just see. We want to run, and we want to do startup. So let's just get that in there. See what we can get here. The other decks that we had played the other day, the Seb deck, we made a bunch of changes to this, or a few changes to this, I will say, like a little bit more subtle, but I think this got a lot more consistent. I think this got a lot more consistent with what we did. Just basically subbing out the Boitata for a Mimic, which is good because it's better with our main idea. We want to use the crew, so any high strength ice we're more likely to trash. Oh, perfect. Anyway, we'll talk about more about that later. Oops. All right, so another precision design here. Vertimouse. We will mull. This is not good in the beginning. Well, I have realized we did not move this deck over to JNet. So that'll be fun. Let's see what we can do. So we'll give you a look at what this deck was before we try and run into this again. Okay. So, bunch of stuff here. I mean, I feel like the server one is either going to be a Rashida or an Agenda. Let's diesel here and see what we can do. So we could run HQ, install the Sachi, then run server one, install the Sachi, get 3, make them spend. If that's a Gatekeeper, I think Gatekeeper's the only thing, and it's not that bad. So let's just do it, I think, here. So I'll run server one, I'll hold that. Oop. I tried to signal. This is definitely the thing about Ahri is it's tricky. Cool, there we go. Timing be tricky. So Blade of is fine. That's gonna bounce. We got our money out of it though, which is good. So this almost certainly is. We could install the Cleaver and just go back, honestly. I think we do. Yeah, I think we just install the Cleaver and run back. All right, there we go. So we'll run back server one, encounter, and we'll break. Breach, Nico. Well, we got here, so let's just get rid of it. Cool. Keep them down money-wise anyway. If they want to trash the Ablative and get rid of our Sachi, I'm not really worried about that too much. As I said, that's one of those cards that can just hang out there, and I'm not. If they trash it, great. If they don't, we'll find another way to use it. No big deal. But if we do want to de-res it, we have to do that before. But I don't. It's 2 credits. There's no real reason. There's no reason for that. All right. So we'll start our turn. We'll get our telework down, get some money. try and find some cards. I think we just draw through it. And I know we played 2 Peach Shawns, so and we do play multiple E shutdowns. With 3 E shutdowns, I think we just cut it. We'll just get rid of it. Cool. So we kicked them off their line a little bit, money-wise. And with the Egret, we can threaten server 3 too. So this is actually a good spot because we can click the telework. I think we put pressure on this. I do think we put pressure on this again. So let's telework. We'll sure gamble to get some more money. We'll run server 3. MIC. That's a big one. So we will use Ari to get our Egret. We'll encounter. And we will match and break. And they could trash and make us spend the click, I guess, but I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, we'll just steal that. We'll just steal that. That's good. That's good. Always love that. I think we got a draw. All right. Well, our opponent decided that they had had enough, I suppose. Conceded and signed off. Guess just some good accesses here. But, yeah, that one actually didn't feel bad. I kind of wish I had a little bit more luck like that, but we really just got lucky we had the answers on this, in this specific circumstance. I don't think that this is indicative of the performance that this was going to have normally. Like, the burner's good, so we did have a lot of pressure here coming up, but we also didn't have much money. Well, I guess the urban art coming up a little bit, so the little bit of pressure was going to be good. But yeah, definitely a fortunate turn for us. But sometimes it do be like that. So before we do this again, let's fix my deck. Let's actually do this, do what we intended to do here. We'll save that. All right. And we'll try this again. I'd love to run, and I'd love to do startup. So let's go. Let's see what we can do. No, next one. So yeah, we didn't really see any of the changes that we had made in that deck, but that was never going to happen. That deck was very, very different. Oops. Functions, not control, Ben. So we'll get these changes in. Good amount of games going on. There is also a there is also a CBI invite tournament happening over this weekend, which is probably a reason that most people right now are trying to jam standard games. This invitational tournament is only certain. It was the only people that are playing within this tournament are people that won another tournament series earlier last year. So. One of my friends at the meetup was testing his decks for the CBI Invitational this weekend, and I feel like a lot of the people I had seen him on JNet the other day as well. So I think a lot of the people currently are going to be practicing their CBI decks if they're playing competitive Netrunner. Cool, got us all loaded up here. Another precision design. Okay, I actually don't mind this. I don't mind this. I think we'll keep this hand. DZMC is great. Aesop's, early Aesop's I'm not going to be mad about. With our Sachi. So a lot of these kind of play together, play nice too. So This is actually might be a pretty decent start. All right, YDL, Your Digital Life, draw a card. YDL, did they mulligan? No, they kept. Okay. So probably no agendas, if I had to guess. Let's draw, first click. The Muse is pretty good, because this would let us get our Coalescence. Can we DZMZ, which would make the Muse 1, and yeah. So I think our answer is actually going to be to DZMZ, to get our Muse from our stack, to get a Coalescence, take that twice, get our money back, and get our Aesops on the table. And this is exactly what I was talking about, right? So like, we were able to change the way that this deck flows. So now we ended our turn with 3 credits. We have 6 more credits on the board, because over the next 2 turns, I'm going to pawn the Coalescence, and I'm going to pawn the Muse. And we have recurring discounts for the rest of the game. So economically, this is in a much better spot than I could have ever been than the last deck. I just didn't have the cards, some of these cards, like the Coalescence. I slept on the Coalescence. That's on me. And our friend here is Spin Doctor, another Your Digital Life, and Hedge Fund. So they have some money. They do have quite a bit of money. And I think we're going to draw. Conduit's not bad, but we would have to go pretty low. Conduit. I'm kind of tempted. I think we draw again. Urban Art isn't super impactful for me right now. Man, none of these we actually want to put in play right now. I guess we have to Urban Art. We're going to have to Urban Art eventually. Let's just get it down on the board. Doesn't feel good because we're not going to be able to take advantage of it next turn. But it's just got to be what it is. We want it down eventually, so timing can't always be perfect. Wow, another spin, huh? That's fine. If they want to take their turn or use their spins now, I'm not super mad about that. And we have good. Yeah, see, this is fine. We have some solutions here. So we are going to pawn our Muse, get some money back, take clicks. If I was a betting man, I would say that this is going to be a barrier. Why? Because our opponent probably assumes we play Physarum, and Physarum only works on non-barriers. So, knowing that, let's force them to do something. And we'll do it with 2 clicks left. So we'll play the Sachi for free with our DZMZ, and let's run server 3. Let's just see. Let's see what it is. Worst case, we just get money, and we bounce. Well, that's not the worst case, but best worst case, we just get the money and bounce. I don't know. Worst best case. I don't really know that how that works. And this, worth noting, we'll say Sachi was not our Ari install, so we still have that available to us too. Okay, thinking. Or giving me the time. But we, oh, they're thinking about it. Okay. So, we will encounter. Now, we can click through the end of the run. They don't have anything there. And let them install, which they definitely have the money to res. Or we can just break the first subroutine. We could window of opportunity and go back. That's kind of fun. I'll break that fire. So this will cause us to bounce. We spent one of our clicks so that result doesn't happen. I am tempted. We could window of opportunity this. It just doesn't help super much. It gets us money, like gets us 6 more credits, 5 more credits. But then we have to deal with this again, and they get to fire it. So I think we're just gonna draw and let them go ham on that. I'm assuming that as well, this is also a Managarm Skunkworks, or the upgrade in here in this server is a Managarm Skunkworks, is my guess. Just based on the HP meta. 2 seamless, that's pretty good. They saw those quick, huh? That is pretty good. Do we wanna? Oh, we can Urban Art the Sachi. Yeah. So we'll pull this back. This is gonna be nice. Get our lily pad down sooner. We will not Aesop's anything. Them getting to send a message isn't ideal. It isn't ideal. But I'm kind of thinking we pressure, we just run. We can conduit for 3 and just conduit. I kind of think that's our solution. Can we lily pad conduit? That's 8 credits, 7 credits. Puts us in a bad way later. I don't think we do. I think we just conduit, and we for very cheap, for very cheap. See if we can cause some problems here. It's just not my favorite, because this is. Let me see. That's not good. We don't love any of this. I think we run spin. Nah, we'll just conduit again. Spin might be the right choice. It might force them to res or to shuffle with Spin Doctor. I don't think they would though. They wouldn't let us see extra cards. So no. I feel good about that. And it got us points. Got us the best agenda in the game. I mean, it's a banned agenda. We're doing great. Yeah. They're not gonna let us. They're not gonna let us get away with that again. We're not gonna pawn. We will pawn nothing. So what did we see? Brawn is the first one. So that's a Brawn. I've never seen more of a Brawn in my life. And that. So what is going to be the solution? We can try to put pressure on R&D, and we'll see 3 new cards, I believe. But they would cost us an entire turn, which honestly isn't the worst. Honestly, it's not the worst. Let's just go. We will install the Sachi, so I'm gonna use Ari. So I will conduit R&D. I'm gonna Ari the Sachi on the Brawn. Get some money. And the Sachi was free because of DZMZ, so we're just being efficient. Brawn, that's what we thought. So we will encounter, we will click through everything. Ooh, we might be able to let that first one fire, but we'll break it. I would rather be sure. Breach, MIC, Eli, hedge fund, MIC. Okie dokie. Well, I guess they are going to be protected very, very well. So we will have to focus on... Wow, that's unfortunate. I mean, great for them. That's really good for them. And then they pull a seamless launch back. Yeah. Did the same thing. So if they install anything on that Brawn, we're going to have to push. We're going to have to push there. That's unfortunate. So let's pull this Sachi back. We'll take our clicks. We will not Aesops. We can... Let's draw. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think we draw. Okay. Let's install Lilypad. And I am going to run server 2. I think we're just going to get rid of this spin. So I'm going to run server 2. I'm going to use Ari to install the Sachi on Abron to draw a card. And, yep, so they're going to use it. That's fine. We kind of expected that. We expected that. Now, out of all these things, the Windows, they don't have a ton of money. They really don't have a ton of money. But the Physarum, I don't think we need 2 Physarums when most of their ice... We've seen the MICs coming up, but I don't really want to put a Physarum on an MIC because the MIC can just trash itself anyway. So it's not super impactful of a target. So we'll pitch one of those. Ah, okay. So they are a bit worried about money here. We will Urban Art Sachi. Okay. Take clicks. We will not Aesops. Do think we're going to need to take care of that Regolith, though. I mean, clicking through the bronze not bad. And we get a click back, huh? Yeah, that's okay. Let's run R&D. I will use Ari to install Pichushaw there. I will draw a card. We'll encounter. We will break, break, break. Continue. I'll gain a click. We'll breach. Send a message. That's great. Vitruvius. GG. Good game. That was a tough one. Yeah, that went way better. Like, we got, first of all, our first win on stream. We got there. Good for us. We did it. I feel so much better this time than last time. Well, second win. First official win, we're going to call it. That last game didn't count. That made me feel great. I'm very, very excited about this. So this is, we got to see so many of the reasons we made the changes here. This is why we did, we made those changes that we talked about earlier, right? So we had pressure. The Aesops plus the Muse and the Coalescence gave us money. I don't think I had to click for credits once. Let me see here. How many times did we click for credits? Where are we? Credits gained, runner, credits by the basic action. No credits by the basic action. That's why I couldn't even see it, because I didn't have anything there. So we were able to just use the cards that we had in our deck to push us along and push us forward. That's awesome. And we still had answers. Like, another telework. That's great money. Another Sachi, well, a Sachi that we were bouncing all the time. That's great. Urban Art to keep all these things rolling. Awesome. Like, this deck was able to perpetuate itself because of the cards that we have in it now. Whereas before, we were fighting the deck in order to accomplish our goals. And that's not how we want to deck build. That's not how we want to play Netrunner. So I'm super excited that we were able to get something happening with this deck. It was looking bleak before. So let's see if we can try this again, huh? Let's see what we can do. We'll try another startup. We will do this. And we're all great. Let's see what we can do. Let's try this little Ari deck again. and compare it, if you go back and you compare it to the first game, that we played, we were like, the cards in our hand that we had weren't really helping. Like, they were the answers, sure. I think we got a little bit fortunate because that's what our opponent presented us with, but we were able to utilize it and get a, or at least force them to quit. But in this last game, all of the cards like pushed us forward. Like, they largely ignored the conduit, which was fine because we were able to utilize the other cards that we included in our deck to make an impact. The Pichusha was huge. Even though that was the turn that we lost, we could still go and pressure that Regolith to get rid of the money that they had. All of those cards that we saw were new because they had reshuffled the Spin Doctor, and these are all lines that we had available to us because of the cards that we had put in. And it was great. I do think that the deck feels much better now. I would love to get another playthrough of it here if we can. And we'll see here. Give it another few minutes and then, oops, again, function is not control. And on the other side, I did make some adjustments to this, to our Charlotte deck. I just reworked. Oh, what was it that I actually reworked? I'll have to take a look. I think I cut. Oh, that's right. I cut the Regolith mining license out of this. So before our Wayland Consortium deck had Regolith, which was just way too slow. Like, the deck already is a bit click intensive. So having to install and then click multiple times to get like a positive credit differential was just not worth it. Not worth it at all. So we swapped that out with a couple government subsidies. And the math, like, government subsidies gains us 5 credits. It requires a lot more. It requires 10. But in order to get 5 credits off of Regolith, it is a click to install the Regolith. And 2 clicks gets you 6 credits, but you've paid 2 at that point. So it's a net of 4 after 3 clicks. So this just gets us 5 with 1 and is quite a bit more efficient, much faster. I typically don't have a problem getting to 10 credits with this deck, so it's not as impactful as it might seem on paper, the credit difference. And instead of putting 3 subsidies in, because I think that's just a little bit too much, I just swapped with a Crisium. This is kind of a meta slot. I would say that this is a meta slot if you are seeing something else in your time. And business as usual even could serve as a meta slot here. I just think this gives us an out in some board states, and I like it. And I have a cool alt art from Worlds that I wanted to use. So honestly, oh man, I don't know if y'all have seen this or not. The alt art for business as usual is sick. It's so sick. Here, let's see. Business as usual. Alt art. Let's see if we can find this. Oh, we should spell it right. Netrunner. Oh, jeez. Oh, no. Oh, no. We've done it. Now we've done it. Oh, God. We're lost. We're lost in the sauce, friends. Probably should just go to the World Championship deck. Yeah. We're doing this wrong. We're doing this real wrong, guys. We're going to go here. We're going to go back here. And we're going to see if we can find our World Championship prizes. World's Championship prizes. World Survey. Recap. Schedule. Recap? Let's see. Nope, that's just how everyone did. Love letter to startup. Oops, that's not where we wanted to go. We wanted older. Keep going older. Older. Hey, we got there. Oh no, it's a surprise one. Oh, I think it was, oh no, there it is. This is it. Let me, okay, cool. This. I love this art style. This is super Miami Vice to me, but a little bit almost like synth wavy, like in the background with the, with that sun rising over what looks like Miami. I don't know if it actually is or not, but it just feels like Miami Vice. And you have like that sports car Ferrari looking thing. This is great. And it pops, like the colors pop on the card in person too. And it just looks so nice. The gradient's great. They did a great job with the art. They did a great job with the design. And I just wanted an excuse to put this card in my deck. So, sometimes it's all it takes too. If you got a sweet alt art, you can't just like leave it in your binder or something. Here's some other ones. This is really the prize support. If anybody's wondering like what types of things that you can get from playing in these events, all of the Netrunner tournaments are all run on prize support. And it's all alt arts, and people make different alt arts themselves too. And a lot of tournaments will have fan-made content that are given away in addition to these official null signal kits. But in the official kits, it's usually an alt art or two and some playmats. An alt art and some playmats. And it changes like during the event season. There's like a participation card for everybody that plays, and then usually like top 3 or 4, I believe, top 4 maybe, get the rarer version of the art, which is, or the rarer of the two for a special prize, in addition to the other one, which is really, really great. But it is looking like everyone wants to play standard. Max Verstappen. We got Max Verstappen playing this game? Man, shouldn't he be doing a sim? Isn't there a sim race? Isn't there a big sim going on this weekend? That can't be Max. Although I do kind of want to play them. I think we will try and get a standard game. I don't want to sit here and just keep... you guys don't want to just hear me talk about nonsense. So let's switch it up here. We're not getting any takers for standard, or for startup, excuse me. So what we'll do... give this just a minute. Let's just give it a minute. Feeling lucky, you know? I like to give myself a second here. I like to push it. See what we can do. Okay. We're getting no dice here. No dice. So we'll leave for a sec. I'll talk about the changes I made to this Sebastian. I also have this. This is fun too. I've been making changes. Epiphany is a deck that I've been playing for like many months now. I love the ID. I think it's super interesting. It's very difficult to play because it requires not only a really in-depth knowledge of your deck, and almost odd sometimes, because I've just ripped this thing cold, and you know, knowing what's in my deck and what I've seen, and I've hit a lot, but you have to know what's in your deck, know your outs, know what you can use on your board, and remember everything that you saw. And it's that last part that makes Epiphany really difficult. Because in addition to your ID ability that you have that lets you look at and play from the top of your deck, we also play another card called Federal Fundraising that lets us look at and rearrange the top card of our deck and give us extra card draw. So we have this is another deck which is just mad triggers. Like everywhere you look is a new trigger and new thing that you have to remember at the start of your turn. And if you sequence the things wrong, like if you federal fundraising before you pop your Rashida and draw 3 cards, your federal fundraising was useless and you did nothing. So there's some like weird small things, like, well, not small, but there's some very specific sequencing things with this deck, and knowing the line is important. And this is a fun one. I do rather enjoy that. But you didn't see the first version I had. Although I saw Diogene, I think it's Diogene. They made their own version of an Epiphany deck that they played pretty recently that went 2-1 that featured Open Forum. And this is a card I had not only forgotten about, I had completely written it off. This was out of my head. This is a Fantasy Flight Games made bad Netrunner cards. I don't need to read all the Netrunner cards. I know what they do. I know the good ones. Not Ogs. That's not how this game works. Cards have really niche interactions that really change how a deck plays. And I thought this was a cool card that Diogene had. So after your mandatory draw, reveal the top card of R&D and add it to HQ. Add 1 card from HQ to the top of R&D. Why? Why would you do this? You just kind of fix a card, and we have all of these other ways to fix our deck. But the real reason for that is Stoke the Embers, where we don't want this in our hand. If this is in our hand, it's bad. It's a bad news for us because it doesn't trigger itself. We can't install it from our deck to get the second half of this benefit. When you install this agenda from anywhere except HQ, you may reveal it. So we want this to come from our archives. We want this to come from our R&D. But if it's in our hand, it's bad news bears. So the Open Forum lets us, if it's in our hand and we have like a Hollow Man on the table, or honestly, even a Sansan will work with Stoke the Embers, as long as we're revealing it, of course. This lets us get it out of our hand, back on top of our deck. So I thought this was a cool card, and total credit to Diogene for that inspiration. And this won me a game yesterday too, so that was really fun. But then with our Seb deck, really fast, the important thing is we put in Mimic. It's a better card. Boitada, again, you gotta try cards to know what they're good at and what they're not good at. And as it turns out, Boitada is just not good at being a breaker. So, moved on. Back to the classic. Back to our wonderful Mimic. Who needs to increase your strength when it's 3 strength and it breaks everything for 1 credit? So, or, each subroutine for 1 credit. That's good. Good stuff. So let's see if we can get a standard here. We'll do any side. I do enjoy it. We are gonna actually make sure that we have updated all of our decks, because I doubt it that I did. Oops. So we save that. We'll go back over here. So we've done this. Let's make sure we've done this one. Oops. Did I hit a button over there? I don't think I hit a button over there. Something's wrong with the stream, let me know. This is, I believe, our Wayland deck. Great. Startup, and then that's standard, and this also has been updated. Cool. So let's give this a go. I gotta update a clipboard. All right, let's see what we get. I'm happy to play either that Seb deck or the Epiphany deck. I think the Epiphany deck is really difficult to play, but I think there's something there. I hope we don't have to wait to Elevation to see it. But I do suspect that we'll start seeing Epiphany a lot more once once we get to that point in the game. Sweet. All right, so Solidarity, but Ag Infusion. Woof. Woof. We might be into some trouble. Or we can just try and blow up all their stuff. You know what? That's a better way. Let's blow up their Anansis. That's our strategy. We're just going to destroy all the things. Install Advance. This is screaming Charlotte to me. Like, screaming Charlotte. So, I think this is also going to be the easiest time that we have to get in. You know, that's a fun way to think about it. We could Mimic. Mimic might be the solution. That will save us from anything big. They can't resist Saisan. Do we just want to do it? I mean, we probably... No. Let's do this. Let's do this. We will gain 9, take a tag. We'll install our friend of a friend with our other friend of a friend. We'll use this friend of a friend to remove the tag and gain more money. And then we will... Do we just pop the steel skin? Nah, we probably want to keep that. I think we just draw the old-fashioned way. Drawing our breakers is a little bit rough. Great. So we called it. We called it. It was a Charlotte. This is just gas for them. And it is going to become a problem. I'm sure we'll see a Lacosta pretty soon as well. But getting something to start putting pressure on this is going to be really, really important. I think we're going to buy bands R&D. Oh, we might have wanted to do this to remove the tag. I think I goofed that first turn. Yeah, I think we wanted to buy bands instead of a friend of a friend to remove the tag. It is better for us. We'll draw 2. We have 3 credits. So, or excuse me. No, we have 13 credits. But I think we're going to install this Mimic. Subliminal. I think we install Cleaver. No. Could be a tattoo. This could be a tattoo. Install, run. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go. We ball. Let's go get that Charlotte. I mean, a Nazi does kill us. Hey, what's a tattoo? Look at us go. They're going to get a little money from the tattoo. Oh, they're not, so they cannot. Love that. I love this for us. Look at us go. We called the tattoo. We got our Charlotte out of the way, which is really nice because any of these IDs, like, I think Charlotte's really good as well. Once she gets rolling, it's like, it becomes really difficult to put any meaningful pressure on because you just can't pressure their economy. And we were lucky that they only had a tattoo bola in front. But they did install something else in that remote. So we're going to get a little bit of money. I kind of think I want to steel skin. I just need cards. So let's just do it a little bit. If successful, resolve 2. So we could install this, which is really good. But we also want to be able to... Oh, we need a lot to do a lot of this. We need to do a lot of this. Let's leech run R&D. Get a leech counter. Because this leech is going to save us a ton of money in the long term. We, like... On addition to playing a fixed strength Mimic, and not having another answer besides Awasera's crew to a Nazi, we just don't have a ton of money. Like, we can't afford 2 credits to make this +1 strength. We can afford that? Who do you think we are? We're Seb. We rely on our friends, man. That's why we have all these connections. Friend of a friend. All of our friends. Let's see. Boto. See, this is exactly what we're talking about. We can't spend 5 credits to break that. We can spend a leech counter to break that. Much, much better. Kind of wish we had that too. We're running out of MU quick. We are running out of MU quick. I do want the fermenter. I do want to get the fermenter on the board. Longevity serum. They trashed 1 card and then shuffled 3 cards. Okay. Seems reasonable. I think we check R&D first again. I do want the card draw. This is good, but it also removes tags. No, I think we just gotta go. I think we, efficiency is overrated. Let's leech. Let's draw 2 cards. That's great. All of this is good. I think we are going to install the fermenter. Saisentan, great to know. Good to know. So we have some money, we have some leech counters. They've already pushed an agenda, and we've been keeping an eye on R&D, so I don't think we need to push that too far. I'd love to keep the Hermes a surprise, because that can really change the scope of a game. And Manuel is really good as well. So I do like where we're going. I think we'll just get the Solidarity in play. I'm assuming we're going to trash their cards. They play Charlotte. They play Spin Doctors. I'm sure they play Lacostas. So something to help us just keep poking about. So if they want to Resaboto, that's 6. And it costs us 2 credits to break. So that's not that bad. But I do think we would want to get the Hermes down. If it's a Boto, we could consider trying to trash it, but we don't have a way. Oh, we could trash it. Boto's strength 4. And that would give us a tag for Manuel and the free install. I think and it'll give me a Solidarity badge. You know what? I think we've done it. I think we've found the solution. Let's see if it's a Boto. I would love to get the Hermes down. Actually, I don't know if I would have had the money for it. Hedge fund. Okay, that's fair. So let's draw. Wheels is really good. All these cards are really good, actually. All these cards are super good. I think we just gain a credit, get some money. We consider popping the Fermenter next turn to get 6 credits. 2 clicks for 6 credits isn't bad. I might want to leave it to 4. I think they're gonna purge soon. And the higher this Fermenter gets, the worse it gets. Maybe, you know what? They're probably going to purge once they ice archives. That's my bet. Because if they don't ice archives, we can just keep running back to get our leech counters. And the leech counters are what's important out of this whole thing. Leech counters are definitely what's important. Okay. So I'm thinking click 1 is Fermenter to get money. And then Hannah is really good because then running here is free. But if we also run here, we might be able to get the Hannah for free. Or we would rather have the Manuel for free. So 1, 2, 3. Fermenter. Or we just Hermes, let them score. That might be better. And play this a little bit slower. So I think we run archives, or run R&D first. Yeah, let's run R&D first. This will give us information. Saisentan. Okay. Okay. I don't want to spend 3 credits to break this every time. I do want the tag. Because we want to install Manuel. So we'll continue. I will use Awaceros Crew to install Manuel for free. Then I will trash the Saisentan, which gets us a Solidarity badge. Then I'll continue. Now, since we're tagged, Manuel is going to let us get to 2 cards. Bacterial. So it's going to let us get 1 card because they are going to make it so we don't get a second, which is how it goes. That's definitely how this can go sometimes. So we'll give them a minute. But while they do that, let's have a think on our side. We don't have a ton of money, and we have a tag. We do have the Hannah. Now I kind of wish we played the Hermes before to bounce whatever we have there. Spin Doctor. They fed us this? So let's cool, and we will run RD. Boop, boop. We encounter. We Sarah's crew. We do that. We Manuel. We crew. We trash that. We continue. We breach. We steal. Cool. So then we let them rearrange and do the bacterial. But we have 3 clicks left. We have a tag. I don't think they're going to want to trash our Manuel. I would love to try and get into this server. We can, if we click Fermenter, we get money. We play Hannah. That's 2. La Costa, absolutely not. Which, this could also be a La Costa, now that I'm seeing it. So maybe we don't want to do that. But we could run and force an action there, but that puts us pretty low. So I think we're going to draw... Maybe we just play the Hermes. I think the Hermes is probably right, and play it slow. Get a little bit more money on the Fermenter. I don't think we need to put more pressure on right now. So let's just do the Hermes. If it is an agenda, we have a punish. We can rip up that ice in front of our, HQ. And we haven't really run HQ very much, so it's good. I think it'd be good to get information. We've seen what their draws have been a few turns in a row, but they did draw a bunch too. They had a bunch of Spin Doctors, or that was last game. No, they just drew a bunch. They just bacterial. What am I saying? Of course they did. Okay. Right. So second card here, we think the card they just installed is the La Costa that we saw on top of R&D. And if that's the case, do we want to remove the tag? I think we do want to remove the tag. I think we definitely want to remove the tag. Yeah, we'll just remove it. Okay, Solidarity Badge doing work. I do want to pressure this. I think a Sentry is likely. They're getting to that point where Purging looks pretty likely. This is La Costa and something else. Probably a 4-2, or else they would have scored it, I think. Or they're setting up. I think we go for it. If it's a Code Gate, so be it. Oh. Could be a Vampy, huh? And we don't have an answer. We don't have an answer. Oh, got it. I know how we do this. So we'll gain money. Let's Privileged Access. Because now we're going to get that leech back. So really good. I like the sequencing of this here. This is going to get us the crew. This is going to get us our Fermenter. And this is going to get us another resource from our hand. Probably our Hannah, because that's going to let us do the run on server 1 clicklessly, which seems really strong. Let's Sebastian. We'll get the Hannah for free. We'll Privileged Access for the crew, and we will install the Fermenter. So good. So much text. So much text. All enabled by 1 bacterial. And I think now we can use Hannah to run a remote. Although if it's unsuccessful, we're going to be big sad. Oh, we got Leech. We're fine. We're fine. So let's see. This click is free with Hannah, which is really nice. We always can install our friend of a friend afterwards if we need to, although that might put us a little bit low on credits. They don't have anything res that's scary that they can throw us into with Ag Infusion. Okay. Ugh, I don't really want to trash this. I don't particularly want to trash it, but I might have to. Well, if that's a Lacosta, it could just be a Charlotte. I think forcing them... I think we just do it. Or we run back on R&D and see 2 cards, but they rearranged all that. So we know that's a Lacosta. This is free. You know what? Let's just do it. I think blowing up their board state's fine for us. We'll break. But this also could be a really good bait. I don't know. There's only so much we can do, I think. Charlotte, that's fine. And Lacosta. Man, I would love to trash this. But I don't think we can. We can get back in here easily. I don't think we worry about that too much. We could friend of a friend to pop that tag. But I want a friend of a friend to get this money back. And I want that fermenter to keep cooking. So I think we draw here and we'll just remove... or we just let Solidarity Badge do the work. Let's just draw. Yeah, let's just draw. If they want to spend a card and a bunch of credits to trash one of our things, I think that's okay. Actually uses the second part of our ID ability, which people forget about all the time. But that's fine. Because we're not in a bad spot. We just want to keep controlling them here. And that bacterial... Oh, what did they actually do with this bacterial? Trash 0, add 1 card. Okay, so they added 1 card and then rearranged the top 6. And they... drew 1 and installed it. Okay. So we'll Solidarity Badge to remove the tag. Fermenter keeps ticking. We can put pressure. They know we can get in there. I think we got to gain credit. Sure, gamble. Do we Hannah pay a credit and see what's in there just to keep them honest? Yeah, I think we have to. If it's a Charlotte, we're in a bad spot. So we'll break. Okay, they did swap it. So they did actually... So let's a new card. Yeah. Trash the Rashida. Lacosta. I should trash. Now that we don't know what this server is, we'll trash it. It's probably a better play now. Because we don't know if we can get in easily. And it powered up... Well, the trashing Rashida powered up our Solidarity Badge. That's fine. I don't want to draw... Oh, we can draw again. We can pitch this Hermes. Okay. We have MU. Solidarity is going to give us some money. They just purged. Yep. That's fine. That's A-okay for us. Solidarity Badge to draw a card. Crew is excellent. So we are going to play another Leech and then run Archives. Oh, I bet you they ditched him a virus. No. No Mavirus. Let's run Archives again. And let's gain a credit. Cool. We don't need to know... We don't need them to know that we have the crew. It's better for us to keep that information withheld. And... Mandatory draw card, install ice. Yeah, so they're getting ready to protect... Or to purge again, is my suspicion. That's definitely what I got. So they've drawn a bunch. Installed Archives. We probably want to install the crew now and put pressure and try and open something up while we have the Leech counters, because they're going to purge again. But we don't have a ton of money. So if we play the crew, that's 2 credits. And then it's 2 more credits. So we're kind of getting to that point where we need funds. So I think the solution is if we install Friend of a Friend, we will use Friend of a Friend to gain 9 and take a tag. and then we'll install the crew. Now we have a bunch of money and a bunch of stuff. And we're tagged. So let's run R&D. And this is whenever, right? That's whenever. Great. So if they don't res here and don't force us to do anything, we can also run HQ and get 2 cards here, which is going to be really, really good. They did. Okay, great. So we'll encounter. We do not want to take a tag. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll trash. We'll continue. We'll breach. Spin. Yep, we trash that. Hedge. They have 15 credits. We have some leech, some money. If it's a Nancy, we can get through it. And we see 2 cards. I think we run HQ. Great. Let's breach. Seamless? 2 seamless. Good to know. Really, really, really good to know, actually. So no advanced card in that remote can be a big, big problem now. I'm really glad we found that out, actually. Yeah, so like this. This is a threat. And we have spent 2 crews and 1 privileged access. So we still have 3 outs in this deck. Code Gate is still a problem. We will Solidarity Badge to remove the tag. Fermentor keeps ticking. Okay. You know what? We're going to use the Solidarity to draw. We're going to draw because we want to be tagged for Manuel. So first thing we're going to do is run R&D. Breach. Fire. We will bounce this card. Sick. So we're getting really, really good accesses here. And the spin again, huh? All right, we're going to go back. We're going to run... I did it straight up, right? Leech spins. We're going to make her... Okay. Cool. Just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to make sure we did that right. Breach, steal. And I bounced this. Okay. Cool. Boto. Alrighty. Fair enough. We have all the clicks left. We have a little bit of ways to get money. I feel like, oh no, they're not going to purge because we just have a way to keep pressuring here. We are tagged. I'm not super worried about the tag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 MU, so we really can't install anything else. I think then the answer, we could run HQ and just pressure. Yeah, let's just run HQ and pressure. I think having something going on here is going to be our best opportunity. Tattoo, cool. Counter. We'll cleaver, we'll break to get in. Our leeches continue to leech. Are they tattooing? They are tattooing. Seamless. Oh no! All right, let's All right, let's run back. I think we need to get these leech counters back. Yep. Oh, 2 Botos. 2 Botos. That's scary. Yeah, I think we just run back. I think we just run back. 2 leech counters. I think 2 leech counters is worth it. 2 clicks for 4 counters is good. Okay, so let's see if we can get some more pressure here. This is what we need. We just need to keep applying pressure. Oh, I wonder if the Mavirus might have been what was in that remote, actually. That seems reasonable. Oh, and they trashed the card. Okay, okay. They, that's fair. We should have respected that, I think. I think we should have respected that. We'll Solidarity to draw a card. That's not what we wanted. They didn't purge. They didn't purge. It's probably a Boto over R&D if I was a guessing person. I think we could keep running HQ. We know 2 of the cards are seamless. That probably is the Boto. So we don't know what 2 of them are. There's a Mav and Archives. So we're in a bit of a way. I think let's draw. Privileged Access is good. Yeah, I think that's our... Oh, I'll play if you're not tagged, huh? Remove tag. Now do we Privileged Access? Do we Fermenter Privileged Access? Soul Resource? I think we just do it. I think we just do it. Tattoo. Encounter. We will break. Breach. Seb. Done. Resource. Crew. Done. Now we're poor. So I should have thought this through. Do we just run R&D? Oh, I think we did this wrong. I do think we did this quite wrong. I think this is a goof. Oh, wait. That's much better. Let's keep our crew around, huh? Yeah, I think that was much, much better. Because now at least they can't punish us and eat our crew after all that. Yeah, that's what I expected to happen. Purge makes sense. Purge totally makes sense. This is nice, but we need money, which we don't have. The fermenter cooking, we could install another fermenter at the cost of a leech. I don't think the leeches are going to be nearly as good right now. 2 leeches cooking gives us a little bit more flexibility. I actually think that's our answer. I think we fermenter again. We'll trash a leech. And we will draw, and we will gain credits. Because we're in an okay spot. We're kind of in the driver's seat. We've been putting a ton of pressure on Stratagem the entire game. We've been trashing their stuff. We've been running everything. And we have the results to show for it. The 2 bacterial is really, really strong. So sitting back for a minute and just getting in a better board state is much, much better for us. Now, we know they have the 2 seamless in hand. If this is a Lacosta, they can score this out pretty easily. Even if it's not a Lacosta, we know they have the seamless, so they can score out whatever's in the server very, very easily. The Hannah would give us a free run. I think Steel Skin, because we can also get the Hannah installed for free with the Drognev Mercs. So I think we play the Steel Skin and try and draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And make a play. If it's a code gate, if it's Vampy, we're in a bad way. But I don't think they expected us to be able to pressure that. Oh, but if it's a Nancy, we can't do anything and we eat it. But we don't lose the game. Let's see. Oh no, we don't lose the game. We don't lose the game. Let's Jiragnif to install Hannah for free. Oh, shit. Or count. I'll just run server 1. Back to the original plan. This is what we get when we try to get cute. Oh, that's a 6. Ouch. 6 strength. I don't think we have any answer for that. I do not think we have an answer for this. Nope, that's just 2. That gives us a 5. A Nazi is not the biggest problem that we have. Fire away, friend. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. This might, I mean, I guess it depends what's in there. This doesn't end the run. And I am foolish enough to continue. What do we care? Tags? Oh, Mindscaping? Mindscaping's bad. Install. We will play. We will not, because we want the cards. And they didn't hit the steel skin, which we love. Continue. We could lose that. You know what? Oh, and Anoetic, huh? Okay. Okay. I'll just take the damage and draw some cards. I'll breach. And then they're going to Anoetic and get us out of there, which is fair. But it cost them some stuff. That Cloud Eater wasn't cheap. I mean, this cost them a lot. To be fair, it also cost us a lot. But we're going to get a bounce. Oh, we're not going to get a bounce. They got us. They got us good. Yep, so this was just frivolous. This didn't really get us anywhere. Wait, why did we lose it? Wait. Oh, they trashed the Mimic with the Cloud Eater. Right. Trash an installed runner card. Well, that is not the best. Devil Charm's good. Devil Charm's really good. Do we just blow it up? I think we do. I do. Before they eat our Awasaris crew. Let's go get it. Let's go get it. Because we also don't want to get thrown into this thing. Because Ag Infusion can just throw us into the Cloud Eater. Goodbye. Sure. Continue. We breach. Anoetic. We trash. We draw. And Valentina's pretty good. I think we Valentina. We remove a tag. That's dope. I'm not mad. At least it got me good. It's pretty good. Pretty solid. But where are the agendas? Granted, this is a 49 card deck, and they play 3 Bacterial. They've been tossing Bacterials. They could just be hiding it in archives, and we wouldn't know any better. We still have a crew left and 2 Devil's Charms. So we'll Solidarity Badge to remove a tag, gain a credit, which is great. The Fermenter. Okay, so we have some money. I think we got to draw, though. Oh, that's great. Nuka, Nuka, casts? Is the game going to go on that long? I mean, they don't have anything to pressure us. I think we sit. The Fermenter's 10 instant bucks. The daily cast, they could purge to get rid of the instant bucks. That might not be bad, but they're on a clock, I think. And certainly we are too, because we don't have a Mimic. Like, we don't have a Sentry Breaker anymore. But we do have Ice Destruction. Okay. We do have Ice Destruction. And a Cleaver. We have a Breaker left in the deck. I think we Nuka. There. Okay. Devil Charm, Buzzsaw. So these are all pretty good. I want to get into Archives. They can't win the game with this. Man, if that's another... I think we do Ferment. I think we just let them do that. Gamble. Charm. They can't win the game. They can't win the game this turn. They get in that last Sisyphus. Okay. Cool. So first things first, we're gonna run Archives straight up because we're gonna get purged. Okay, it's fine. That's fine. Then we are going to privileged access. Yeah, we're going to privileged access breach. Sebastião is going to fizzle. We don't have any connections. Privileged access is going to get a crew. We will install our Mimic. And now we're back. My sweet, sweet Mimic. My sweet, sweet Mimic is back. Buzzsaw and run R&D. We have our suite. We have some pressure. We have a crew. We have everything that we need. Man, what luck. This game has been incredible. We've been ripping through it. This is super good, Seb. This is peak Seb. I'm stoked about this. Boto. Boto. Do we kill it? I think we do. We have another charm. Yeah, let's just boost it. Let's just get it out of here. We continue. Breach. Sadaka. Okay. Okay. I wish we had one more. Let's Solidarity Badge to draw. Okay, that's not what we wanted. Let's draw. Let's install, run R&D. It just makes sense to have it in play. If we find another Cloud Eater, I really don't want to deal with it. Boto is now very expensive. Counter. We don't want to charm it. So it's going to cost us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a single access. May trash a card from HQ. I actually kind of think we just... Oh, no. We'll just break. 4. Damn, that's expensive. Damn, that's expensive. All right. Well, now we know what it is. We'll breach Charlotte. I guess we trash. They don't have any money, so it's better than not. Daily casts, I'm not worried about them trashing any of this stuff. We did trash one of their cards, so that has a thing. I don't want them to pitch to get rid of that daily cast, so I think we'll just ferment. We'll let that keep cooking. Okay. We don't know what any of these could be. One of them is probably an Anoetic, because we've seen one of them. Oh, we've seen 3 Anoetics. What is the influence? 2 seamless, spin, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I think then... Oh, nice. Nice, 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 nice. Our last crew. Do we have one more? No, we've played all our privileged access. So this is our last crew. We can use it to try and put pressure on server 2. I don't really think I want to use it for server for R&D yet. Let's run HQ. Oops, 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 oops. Wrong button. Run HQ. Okay. Only one in hand. Isn't another in the remote? 2 in the deck. Ah, nice, 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 nice. Tough this turn. Oof, man, what a tight game. Because I think they still had the suit 2 seamless in their hand too. So if they were able to, you know, hold us off this turn, and it might have been a little bit hard since we had the crew in our hand too, which is definitely worthwhile, worth the install here. Or I wouldn't have been able to. Okay, so we were able to keep. Yeah, it was scary until your money dried up. One of the best in the set, which is true. I think Charlotte's really, really good. So, well played, though. Well played to our opponent. That was a great game. I'm really happy about that. We were able to do a really good job with our Seb triggers. We did a really good job of making smart runs. And we got in. I think the results were really good. I really liked that game. Yeah, that was a really great game for us. I think I'd definitely like to try this some more. But unfortunately, I don't have any more time today. So I am going to have to run. Went a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. Next week, I will be back. It's going to be, I'm probably going to do Monday and Friday next week. Also sticking to 2 p.m. time frame, 2 p.m. Pacific. I had an appointment on Wednesday, so unfortunately I can't do it at that same time. So instead we're just going to do Monday and Friday. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a great time, and I will catch you on Monday.